So how are you going to... Okay. That's something that you will need to talk to your coach about. How long are you going to be out?
As long as the swelling's up, right here is still up.
Okay.
He said 4 to 6 weeks.
That's almost an entire term.
I know.
So
hopefully I'll practice tonight to try to write with my right hand.
Okay. And that may be something that you and your coach need to sit down and talk a little bit about. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Most of you already know me, so we should be able to go through the introductions fairly quickly. Most of you guys know each other, so we should be able to go through those fairly quickly. And then we're going to look at this syllabus. We're going to go over this syllabus. We're going to take some time with this syllabus because, again, I want to make sure that you guys understand it. But I also want to make sure that I answer any questions that you may have. We'll do a quick overview of what you need to know for this term, and then you guys will have an exit ticket. A lot of the stuff that you guys will do in here will be very similar to what you did before, but we are going to be changing a lot of things. So I want to make sure that we can go through those pieces. So the first thing that we will do are the introductions. I will start with the introduction, and then I'm going to have you guys do a couple of things. So this is me, in case you forget what I look like. My last name was Boer, so I still have some things under Boer, including this video. So I like to record the class sessions in case you do miss something, and I did that a lot with English 3 last term, but I'm going to be doing that with you guys as well. So I'm going to start recording class sessions, and because we're going to be doing a lot less with the Read 180 program this term, and more with some whole class instruction, I'm going to record those class sessions, and then I will put them on my YouTube channel, but my YouTube channel is under my maiden name. Hi, Greg.
Right.
So my YouTube channel is under my first name and my last name. My maiden name, at least. So that is my YouTube channel. So if you ever need to watch a video from class, then it will be under that name. So you go to YouTube and you type in that name, and you're going to find me. Now, the only thing on my channel are a bunch of class session videos from my time at Ivy Tech, which is why I don't want to change my name on there, and my time here, and my husband's racing videos. So, not super interesting stuff on there. But if you ever miss a class session, then you can go to the YouTube channel and you can watch the video of the class. The video will actually show the PowerPoint, and you'll hear me talking in the video. So you may want to write that name down. So as you guys are writing that down, my last name is Warner now. So you see it's up here. It's most of the time it's going to be up here. But that, again, is my maiden name. So that is the name that I went by for 37 years, and now I'm still getting used to the other name. So most of you know already, I was born and raised in Kokomo. I'm from Kokomo. I graduated from Kokomo High School. After I graduated, I didn't have money to go to school, so I moved to Mexico. I lived in Chihuahua, Mexico for a while. It's an actual place, not just a dog. So I lived there for a while. I really enjoyed it there, and as soon as I left there, I actually moved to New Jersey, and I was a nanny for a while until I got a job as an actress in New York. Obviously, that didn't work out, so I spent a little bit of time in California before I moved back to Kokomo. I'm very much a Kokomo girl. I enjoy Kokomo. Back when, in 1996, when I moved back here, I met the father of my kids. He and I paid for me to go to school, so I started at Ivy Tech. I enjoyed my career my time at Ivy Tech, and later on I went on to IUK. I did finish with a bachelor's degree in English and in education, in secondary education. That was back in 2006, and it took me a while because I had 4 kids in the process. So I had 4 kids. They're pretty wonderful kids, and their dad and I, we didn't really work out, so I moved on, and I actually moved. So I taught at Taylor Middle School for about a year, and then I moved to Plymouth, Indiana. I was teaching in Plymouth for about a year, and I was there with my boyfriend at the time. Unfortunately, he passed away 8 years ago yesterday. So he left us, and so we were there for a while by ourselves, and it kind of sucked. So we moved back to Kokomo because, again, I'm a Kokomo girl. And when we moved back to Kokomo, I actually couldn't find a job teaching, and that was when the economy started doing some bad things. So I went back to school, and I went back to school to get my master's degree so I could teach college level. So while I was in my program, I actually met my now husband, so that was about 7 years ago. I met him. We actually knew each other from middle school. We went to middle school together. He was not very nice. I was. So we didn't really talk. We didn't hang out. We weren't friends because he wasn't a very nice person. I wasn't a very nice person either. Dennis is like, I know things. Yeah, I wasn't a very nice person in elementary school, but in middle school I was. It was very nice. So anyway, I was waiting tables at Ducky's, which is also where Dennis knows me from. So I waited tables at Ducky's off and on for years as I was teaching and doing all these other things and just trying to raise my kids. So eventually I got my master's degree, but before I even had my master's degree, I actually accepted a job at Ivy Tech. I really love teaching at Ivy Tech. I taught at the Logansport campus for my first 3-4 years. And then the last year, I was in Kokomo. I didn't like the Kokomo campus as much because Logansport is really gorgeous and a lot of fun. Earlier this year, I actually got married, so we became a very blended family. It's kind of hard to see this, so I'm going to turn the light out for a second. So that's me again. That's my now husband. This is my oldest son, Coy. He is 16. This is my second son, Drew. He is 14, going on 24. That is my mini-me, May. May is 13. That is my stepdaughter, Madison, who is 17. And this is my little guy, Wyatt. He'll be 11 next month. This is my other baby, Roxy. She's my Italian Mastiff, so she's definitely mine. We also have Sarge, and Sarge is our dum-dum dog. He is another Italian Mastiff, and he's gorgeous, but he's not so smart. So he does a lot of really silly stuff. My husband and I got married just a few months ago, back in May, and we spent our honeymoon in Italy. So I spent time this is the Isle of Capri, and this is the Amalfi Coast. So I thought I'd throw a couple of those pictures in there. Yeah, it was gorgeous. And we were here from here. Like, this is the same place. But this is the foggy side of it, and this is the gorgeous side of it. So it was really, really pretty. So a little bit about me. I did start teaching here. Watch your eyes, guys. So I started teaching here last term. It was my first term here, but it's definitely not my first term teaching. I've done a lot of teaching. I've been teaching off and on for about 10 years, probably a little bit longer than that. I love teaching. So that's a little bit about me. I don't think I have anything else, but let me just check my notes to make sure. I am also the student council, one of the student council advisors. We have a meeting tomorrow, so if you're interested or if you are a member of student council, then come to the meeting tomorrow. It'll probably be in the student success room, and it's going to be at 12:30. That'll be our first meeting of the term. Our new officers are going to lead the meeting, and then we will move on and talk about a few other things. I do love teaching. I love my family. I love my town, so you will see me out in the community a lot. So if you're out and about, I will be there too. All right. So what I want you guys to do, I want you to give me 2 to 3 sentences about yourself. I want you to really focus in on make sure you include your name. So tell me who you are. But I want you to focus on your goals for being here. So I want you to give me a sentence or 2 about why you're here. So if this is just a stepping stone for you to get to something else, So if you want to go into early childhood education, this is maybe your stepping stone to get into that. If you just want to get your degree from your high school degree, diploma from here, and then that's it, then I need to know that. If you want to do something else, what your focus is after completion, and then I want to know any concerns that you have. So any questions or concerns that you may have this term, okay? Try your best to give me complete sentences. So make sure you have your subject, you have your verb, and it makes sense. Do your best. Don't give me just fragmented words. Try to give me complete sentences. Okay? Okay, if you guys could take a couple of minutes, finish this up, make sure your name is on the paper as well.
I'm trying to write left-handed, and it ain't working too well, sorry.
Okay, so while you guys are finishing up, I do want to just give you guys a couple of things that I want to remind you of, or I want you to tell everybody about. That includes your name, so you guys need to tell everybody what your name is. Obviously, you don't need to stand up, you don't need to scream at everybody, but I really need your name and your goals, and specifically your goals for being here at the Excel Center. So you can tell us anything else that you think that we need to know, anything else that you think is significant. But we're going to build upon this throughout the rest of the term, so you will get to know each other even more than you already do now. So, Mary, I'm going to have you start. So you're going to tell us your name, your reason for being here, and then anything else you want us to know.
Okay, my name is Mary. I came here to get my high school diploma, and I would like to go into forensics. I took that last semester, and I guess my name is Mary Brown. I go by Meg. I was born in Toledo, Ohio, in 1954, and I came to Kokomo. I just really.
Yeah.
And I moved here to Kokomo this summer in 1985. And I have my daughter, Edie. She is be 34th. She was today the 8th in a week. Oh my gosh, I'm so old. But and she's having her first baby. And I'm happy for that. But yeah, after I graduate from here, I want to go into forensics to because that's always fascinating me. Except for when we had to do 180 and I had to look at the leeches and those gross things.
Yeah.
But I did it. I got through it. It got me sick a little bit, a couple times, squeezy, but I did it. So
Okay.
that's where I'm at now.
All right.
And sorry about my son.
Dennis, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name's Dennis Kenner, and I came here to get my high school diploma, and maybe after that, I will do some volunteer work with children. And I've been a deacon at my church for 9 years, so that keeps me busy. I go to First Baptist Church on Washington Street. And I'm a sports fan, as you all know.
Yeah.
I like my favorite college is Notre Dame. My favorite pro teams are the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings in football, and Chicago Cubs in baseball, and Detroit Pistons in basketball. So
Okay.
that's about it.
Thank you, Dennis. Ms. Ray?
My name is Greg Bell. I just came here so I could learn to get my diploma so I could get a job. I was born in Logansport in 1962. I just enjoy being around a bunch of people, and I'm also a sports fan too. I like the Colts, Notre Dame, Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
That's probably about it.
All right. Thank you. Natasha?
My name is Natasha. I want to graduate and become working with children.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is Cadigan
Okay.
Johnson. I like to be here to do childhood classes because I have never been to public school in all my life. I've been homeschooled, and my mom quit teaching me at the age of 6. And I am now 23 now, so I'm here to try to learn so I can get my diploma and become an astronomer.
Great.
Okay.
And Miss Warner likes to grade with Uncle Pen.
I do. You will
I'm
find
sorry,
that out.
I had to tell you.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is go over the course syllabus, and that is one of the things that it says in the course syllabus. So we will go through this, and I will answer any questions. A lot of the information, for those of you who've been in this class before, a lot of the information is the same, but there are maybe a few changes. I can see that. You can see that this time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the page numbers may be different for you. Before we get to the course syllabus, just a couple of things for you guys. The room is really, really tight because my other classes have over 30 in them. So I don't know how I'm going to fit them in here yet. One class I have has 33 students, and one of them is in a wheelchair. So I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to work on it. So as we get through the term, the size of the room will hopefully dwindle a little bit, so it'll get smaller, and we won't have as much to navigate around. So it may be not the most comfortable space for the first couple of weeks, but hopefully it'll get to that point. So the first thing that you guys see, my information. So my email is listed there, but you also see my phone number. You guys can call it, you can text it, leave me a message. If you're going to be absent, make sure you leave me a message. If you have a question, make sure that you email me or text me. Ask me the question however you need to. If you need to leave me a voicemail, then definitely do that.
And I do that this time.
No? You've got all your questions answered so far? So underneath that is the course description. The course description just talks a little bit about the class. It is based on the Read 180 program. And we're going to do a lot this term with doing things a little bit differently and pulling away from the program a bit. You're still going to do the program. You're still going to have elements of the program that you do. You're still going to be reading. So you're still going to be doing a lot of stuff that you did before, but we're going to frame it a bit differently. So this class does count as 2 English credits. The things that we will really focus on, and you see under major course learning objectives 1, 2, and 3, we are going to practice the ECA skills. So we are going to do a lot with summarizing, identifying key ideas, sequencing. We're also really going to focus a lot on main idea and vocabulary. So instead of doing that at the end of the term like we did last time, we're really going to focus on that within the first couple of weeks. So we're going to look at main idea, and we're going to practice with it for the rest of the term. We're going to look at vocabulary skills and development, and then we're going to practice with it for the rest of the term. So we are going to really focus in on those skills that you need to be successful. We are going to use the rotation systems, so we're still going to be doing some of the Read 180 program, and we'll be doing some self-selected reading. So with the reading, I've given you guys the opportunity to take your books home. We will be able to do that as long as you guys are responsible for your books and bringing them back. I do ask that you guys bring those back every day so I can just check in on those. You will also be doing some of the Read 180 program, but we are a pretty small class, so we probably won't break up. So you'll probably go over there together, and you'll probably stay here together. There will be a lot of times that we're over there across the hall, and we may do it for a full period of time and then over here for a full period of time. It just depends on the needs of everybody. We are also going to be working in the R book again. So we're going to be doing some stuff with the R book, but we're really going to focus in on the skills first and then focus in on the R book. Method of evaluation. So your assessments. So the assessments are going to include vocabulary quizzes. You're still going to have vocabulary quizzes. Those vocabulary quizzes, I try to make those as relevant as possible. So I try to pull in words that you're going to see, that you're going to use, and that you're going to hear a lot. Those will make up 65% of your grade. You will have a midterm. You will also have a final exam in here. So all of those pieces will go under the assessment category. In addition, you will have your SSR books. So when you read your Read 180 book, you'll notice I had to take those out of here. There's just not enough room.
Are we the same book?
Yes, yep, you can read the same book. So those books you will read, and then you will take a test on the book. At the end of the term, what I'm going to do is take the amount of books that you read and took a test on, and then I look at your score on those. So if you don't get to a test, then that means you get 0 in that category. So you really need to make sure that you try to get through a book, at least one book this term. We do have audio books, so that may be an option for several of you. You may look into that as well. Daily activities. So there are going to be a lot of days where you have do nows. You also have exit tickets. So those are going to go in that daily activity category. The sentences that you wrote, that will go in the daily activity category. You're also going to add some more to that later on. Growth assessment. So with the growth assessment, I look at what your Lexile was coming into the course, and then I look at what your Lexile is going out of the course. So I want to see how you're improving. I want to see where you guys are at. You see the grading guidelines listed there. Underneath that, you see the expected materials. So a writing utensil, no purple pens. No purple pens because I grade in purple pen. I don't like to bleed red. So bring pencils, pens, blue, black pens. They're fine. If you have colored pens, that's fine as long as it's not in purple. I do have some spares up here. I have a few spares over here as well. So if you need anything, let me know. I would like you guys to get a binder. If you struggle with getting a binder, let me know and I can help you out with that. The binder, it can be something small and something pretty simple. It's just going to help you stay organized. Because you guys are in one of the developmental classes, I really want to help you guys learn some strategies and some skills to being successful in your upper level courses as well. And organization is one of those components. Paper, you need paper. You need to bring in paper every day that you come in. So whether it's in a notebook, whether it's just loose leaf paper, I don't care. Just make sure you have it. I do suggest that you guys get a USB. This term we're going to be working more on some skills and some strategies. So you may be using that USB. Natasha, do you have yours with you? Do you have it close by?
Yeah.
Can you hold it up for everybody to see? So Natasha is holding the USB. So they are small. If you struggle to get them, yeah, you can get them at the dollar store. So they're only a couple dollars. They're not very expensive. It doesn't have to be anything big. If you struggle with getting that, then let me know. You do need a tab divider for the binder and then extra writing utensils. So I always suggest that you have extras because it's better to have too many than not enough. Any questions on it so far? Okay, the general course policies that are listed there, I just expect you guys to be responsible adults. You guys are all adults, so I expect you to act responsibly. I expect you to understand that if you do something wrong, you're going to face some consequences for that. I do have some guidelines for you, and that's on the next page there.
Do you have one that goes in it?
No, I don't. I didn't hole punch any of it.
This?
Yeah, I do. I gave you my, yeah.
Sorry. Thank you.
So the first thing that I have is the acrostic. Remember that? The acrostic to be brave. So it says brave. The B in this, believe in yourself and your abilities as well as that of others. So one of the things I'm going to require of you guys is that you try. So you try things that I suggest. You try different things. You try to spell things on your own. Make sure that you are trying. I want to see, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time, but I need to see that you guys are putting in some effort. So believe in yourself. I don't want to hear that frustrating, like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, this doesn't work. Or giving up. I don't want to hear any of that. I really need you guys to just try. Try your best. So I want you guys to try to spell things on your own. That's my biggest thing. You guys need to try to spell things on your own. Respect each other. So I'm really big on respect. You guys need to respect each other. Respect me. Don't talk when I'm talking. Don't interrupt other people. If you have something that you want to suggest to somebody, do it in a positive way. So don't do it in a negative way. So if you think that somebody's doing something wrong, say, here's another way that you might want to do that. So be constructive in your criticism. Ask questions. The only way that I know that you don't understand something is if you ask questions. So make sure you're asking questions from me. If you have a classmate, somebody around that you want to ask a question of, then ask them, but make sure it's during a time that you're not interrupting them and you're not interrupting what's going on. If we have any guests or you have anything that you just don't quite understand, make sure you're asking those questions because I haven't been in your shoes in a very long time. So I don't know what you don't know unless you let me know, Joke.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a lot of really corny jokes too, but I think they're amazing. Okay, so class decorum. This is one I'm going to be really strict on this term. So cell phones should not be on at all. You need to make sure that they are silenced when you come in here. Do not ever talk on your phone or into your phone in the class unless it's something that I said, hey, take a picture of it. Hey, talk to your phone. Do this, do that. With your phone, unless it's that instance, you should not have your phone out in class at all whatsoever. So make sure you put those things away. We are also going to talk about things that may be sometimes personal. So I expect you guys to be respectful. I expect you guys not to talk about things that are overly emotional. I expect you guys to make sure that you are also being respectful of everybody else's emotions. Again, the biggest thing is not being on your phone. Okay? Any questions on that?
I'm just going to tell you, even I stress, I sound good.
Good. And that's what I want you to do. I want you guys to try. My biggest thing in here is that I want you guys to try. Put forth the effort to try to make sure that you're doing something. You're doing your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can still read it if it's spelled incorrectly most of the time. Okay, the second part there, or the last part, is about plagiarism and cheating. We expect you guys to be honest in everything that you do. If you take something from somebody or if you have an idea from somebody, then you give them credit for that. Don't cheat. If I find you cheating, I let you finish and then I give you a 0. And I did that a lot last term on vocab quizzes. So I would see people cheating and I would give them a 0, and then they didn't know that they got a 0, but they knew that they were cheating. All right, the assignments. That's on the next side there. So assignments need to be done at the beginning of class, or you have certain due dates on assignments. If your assignment is a formal assignment, so it's something that needs to be typed up, you're going to have this name block listed there. Most of your stuff isn't going to be typed up, but there will be a few times that I ask you guys to type some things because I think it may be, we're going to try a few different, we call those mediums. We're going to try those. So if it's due at the beginning of the class, make sure you have it ready at the beginning of class. Make sure if it's formal that you have all of this name block information on it. Late assignments. Some assignments will be accepted late, but some will not. If it is late, it will get a grade letter deduction. So if it's 1 day late, you get 1 letter grade off. That's 10%. 2 days late, it's 20% to grade letters off. Some tests, projects, and assignments will not be accepted late. So anything you do in class that is an in-class assignment, it's not going to be accepted. So your due now and exit tickets are not accepted late. So if you come in late to class, you cannot do the due now. You will not get credit for it. If you leave class early, you cannot do the exit ticket before you leave. So make sure that you guys understand that. If we do something in class and it's a whole group discussion and we do something with it and you write something down in class and you turn that in, if you miss that class day, then you miss that assignment. So those can't be turned in. If you miss a vocabulary quiz or a test, you only have 1 week, and this is different. So for those of you who've been in here before, this is going to be different. You only have 1 week to make up that assignment. So instead of last term, I had people on week 5 taking tests for week 2. You only have 1 week to make that up. You also need to make those arrangements. So you know that you miss an assignment. What happens if you miss a day? What should you do? What's your first step?
Or text you.
Okay, the first thing is make sure that you call and let me know. And then when you come into class, what do? You go to the folder. So you guys are in this first folder up here where it says absent. And I'll change the names on this. So you guys are in the first folder and you guys will check the absent folder if you miss a class. Just check it and see what it is that you missed. There we go. See what it is that you missed. And if you have any questions on the material that is in there, what should you do?
And do it.
If you have any questions on the material.
I'll ask you.
I want you to talk to someone else first because your classmates experience the class, so they should know the information as well. If we have vocabulary words, they're going to be posted up here. So you should write those down. But you guys need to get your vocabulary words outside of class time. Class time is from 9 to 10:30. So we're locked in that time. If we have spare time, then at that time you can ask some questions. But I really want you guys first report if you're going to be late or you're going to miss a class. Second, go to the folder. Third, ask a friend about or somebody in class a question. And then the fourth step is to talk to me about it. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Natasha?
Are we reading those things again?
That's what?
Those paper for that paper we turned in?
These?
No. Bonus.
No, we're not going to do those this term. Nope. So late assignments, make sure that you are talking to me if you do miss. If you happen to miss a full week of class or something happens, something traumatic happens, then we probably need to look at maybe another term, maybe getting you into class a different term, or maybe readjusting your schedule a bit. This is the only English 2 class that's being offered this term. So we don't have another version of this class. We do have Writing 2 and we have English 1 that are other periods in the day, but this is the only English 2 class. Okay? Attendance, participation, and tardiness. You guys know attendance is essential. You miss one day, you miss a lot of information. Because we're going to be doing more face-to-face work this term, it's going to be even more essential for you guys to be here. So you won't just be able to make up the program and read your book later on. You need to be here and you need to gather the information when you are here. If you are tardy, this is down towards the bottom of this. This is different, so pay really close attention to this. So the first tardy, anytime that you guys come into class tardy, what I'm going to do is hand you a note card. So you come in, and it's after 9 o'clock. The door is going to be locked, and you're going to have to knock on the door, and then I'm going to open the door, and I'm going to give you a card. On this card, you will write your name and the reason that you were late. And I'm going to ask that you put it in this box over here. So you write down your name, you write down the reason you're late, and then you put it in here. Slides right in there. So the first time that you do that, I'm going to give you that, you know better, look, and you're going to write on the card. The second time that you do that, I'm going to remind you, hey, this is your second tardy, and I'm going to have you do the same thing. So you're going to write your name on it, you're going to write the date, name, date, and why you were late. You're going to add those things, and then you're going to put it in there. Now, the third time that you are tardy, you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to write your name, the date, and the reason on the note card. You're going to put it in there, and then we're going to do what we call the Tier 1 report. So every coach has this intervention. It's meant to help you guys be successful. So I am going to report to your coaches, hey, this student has been late 3 times. This is their third tardy. So they will call you in, and they'll say, look, you're in Warner's class, and you have 3 tardies. So the next step is that you're locked out of the class. So you see down there, number 4, you will not be able to come in to class anymore if you have more than 3 tardies. So if you're late more than 3 times, you will not be able to come into class. You will have to set up a meeting with me and your coach. We're going to review attendance, and then you will actually be required to sign a Tier 2 report, which is the second level of this. You'll have to sign an attendance contract, and if you break that attendance contract, which says no tardies, no absences, if you break that, you will not be allowed in the class anymore. So basically, you have 3 tardies, and then you're out. 3 strikes and you're out. That's baseball, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a
That's
question,
all right.
and I had to have another hip surgery. Is there going to come this week?
If it's during the term, yeah. And I think the more that I think about it, the more that you say you've got this one and this, the more you may need to talk to your coach and figure something out there, okay? All right, any questions over tardies or absences? Nope. I did go ahead and put the schedule down there. I am usually in here around 8:45, but sometimes we have meetings that last until 8:50. So I will try to be in here as early as possible, but know that I may not be here until 8:50 if we have a meeting. The meetings are down the hall, and then I try to get here as quickly as possible. All right, the back side, the last part of this. Again, if you miss class, the first thing you need to do is communicate that with me. It also needs to go to your coach. So you need to communicate that with me and your coach. But if you communicate that with me and say, can you send this to my coach, then I will do that as well. So I think that happened several times last term. Somebody emailed me or texted me and said, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it to class today. Can you let my coach and my other teachers know? And I can do that. You just need to let me know that. Second, you look at the class folder, and then you want to talk to anybody else in the class. I do have a spot here for you guys to get each other's phone numbers if you would like, get each other's names, so you guys can contact each other if you would like. If you don't, that's fine as well, but there's a spot here in case you want to do that. The ADA statement. So if you have any kind of accommodations, I need to know those things. Our information is not always up to date. So if you have any kind of accommodations that I don't already know about, then make sure that you let me know. You can write it on that piece of paper that you've already written on, or you can let me know in private at some point. But I need to know what those accommodations are. So I will look for those if I know that they exist, and if I don't see them, then I can talk to you about it, or I can talk to you or Miss Paula. If you know that you need some extra help on things, then make sure you're talking to me or Miss Paula. Miss Paula's number is there. She's in room 162, and oftentimes she's in the resource room as well. As I explained to a couple of your classmates, there are times that I can make things bigger. When it's in a Word document, I can make it bigger, but there are times that there are things that I can't make any bigger. So I will do my best. If you need that accommodation, that's fine. If you need extra time on a test, that's fine. If you need your test read, that's fine. If you need assistance writing, that's fine. I just need to know those things. So I may make some changes, I may make some adjustments depending on the pace of the class, depending on how well you guys are doing. And then I wrote down some dates for you guys to remember. So you will see that the term begins today. Thursday, October 1st is your midterm, so a really, really important day. Wednesday, October 28th is the final exam. And then the next day you will not have a class. The final exam, I need you all to be here that day. The next day is a conference for me in Indianapolis, and I'm the state developmental education president, so I have to be there. So I'm going to have a few hours to work on getting all of the grades finalized, but that's about it. So I really need you guys to be here these dates and be ready to do your best in here. All right, any questions over the syllabus?
I also had this.
Good, you can keep that.
Snow days.
No, we're not going to have snow between now and the end of October. We're not going to have snow between now and the end of October. It's not going to happen. Goodness, it's not going to happen. We're going to have beautiful weather. It's going to be like 60 degrees later this week. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be fall. It is not going to be winter. Yes? All right, any questions? I also would really like to see you guys get through this term. Next term, there are going to be a lot of changes. So let me tell you about a couple of those changes. First of all, English 3. Hi.
Hi, I'm just popping my head in and saying hello.
This is the cool class, so you can pop your head in.
I have a picture. I have a picture of the Notre Dame team bus. I'll bring it in tomorrow. Okay.
Wonder who that's for, Dennis. So there are going to be some changes next term. So I really want you guys to do your best to get through this term, because next term, if you take English 2, you have to take Writing 2 in the same term. We're not sure exactly what that's going to look like yet. We don't know if it's going to be a class that's blocked together. We don't know if you can take one first period and one third period. We don't know what that's going to look like, but we know that it's coming next term. So this class is going to be coupled together, but English 3 is also going to be coupled together. English 3 and Writing 3 are going to be one class next term. It's going to be a blocked class, so it's going to be 3 hours. So you're either going to be stuck with me for 3 hours or with Miss Beth maybe for 3 hours. So the class is going to be blocked, and you're going to be taking Writing and English at the same time. So we have a lot of changes coming, and I want to do my best to help you guys get through those changes. I've been teaching the English 3, and I will be teaching it and the Writing 3 this term. So I really want to help you guys as much as possible, do everything that you can to be successful in here. Also know that Fridays are available to you guys. There are a few Fridays that I will not be able to be here. October 30th is one of those because that's the date of my conference. It's the end of the term anyway, so you don't have to worry about. And there may be other days that occasionally I can't make it on a Friday. Friday mornings are the only times that you will be able to come in. It's usually 9 to 12 because we have meetings in the afternoon. So just know that as well. All right, any questions so far? All right, so we're doing pretty well on time. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of an overview of what the class structure is going to look like, and then just a couple of things around the room, just to remind you guys and let you know some things that I want you to be aware of. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the schedule. So when you guys come in, you're going to do very similar to what you did before. So this red sheet is going to be yours. I'm going to try to keep them red, but it just depends on how much color paper costs. So the red pages are yours. You put your name at the top. You fill in the information at the top. You guys were really bad about this last turn. Make sure you tell me what day of the week it is and what the date is. I always have the date listed up here, so you can fill that information in. There will be a due now. So the due now will be on the board. It's something that you should start as soon as you get in here. If there's an area for vocabulary, vocabulary will usually take about 5 minutes. I'll start that with everybody. We'll do that together. It will be the same as it was before. So we'll get 2 words on Monday, 2 words on Tuesday, 1 word on Wednesday, and we'll review all 5. And then Thursday will be the vocab quiz.
Do you want to slide and I'll dig to the study?
Yes. So I have a sheet here for you guys to write it down, but I also want you guys to write it down on your own. And I want you to write it down twice. Why do you think I want you to write it down twice? What's that? One of those you'll take with you. This you're going to eventually turn in. But why do you think I want you to physically write it down?
Look at it. Because of vision. And it helps you memorize it if you write it down.
Good. If you write it down, you make what we call a kinesthetic connection. So think about when little kids do stuff. They physically mess around with things, and then they can do it again. It's one of my bosses, her 2-year-old grandson. He was able to swipe her phone to answer the phone. She's like, how does he know to swipe the phone? Well, that's a kinesthetic attachment. When you physically do something enough, you have connected that to your brain, so you're able to do those things. So if you write it down, and then you write it down again, you're making some connections to it. So we'll do the vocabulary, and that's the next part of that. So the vocabulary we'll do as a whole class. Again, on Mondays and Tuesdays we'll have 2 words. On Wednesdays we'll have a 5th word, and then we'll review all of the words. We will have some whole group instruction. Now we're going to do more with the whole group instruction this term than we have in the past. So with the whole group instruction, we're going to do things like looking at main idea, we're looking at supporting details, we're going to look at vocabulary, we're going to look at different things that you need to know in order to help you be a better comprehender of information. We're going to do more of this at the beginning of the term and less later on in the term because we're going to do this and then we're going to practice. So we'll do rotations. The rotations will be about 20 minutes. The rotations are either going to be you reading by yourself or they're going to be across the hall and you're going to be working on the computers. So if it's the software program, then you have software information to write down here. If it's the independent reading with your book, then you have that information to write down here. The information that we go over as a small group, you can take your notes here or you can take your notes in your notebook. Either way is completely fine with me. And then finally, you're going to have an exit ticket. The exit ticket will be the last 5 minutes of class. It's going to be fairly short, and you'll fill that information in here. You guys will turn these in every day. Make sure that you turn them in to me. You'll just hand these to me. I have a folder up here that I have for you guys. But every day, starting tomorrow, make sure that you guys pick those up. All right, any questions on that? So your rotations, again, we're going to do the software. So you'll do the Read 180 program, and then you'll do the self-selected reading. We're going to get you guys books early this week. Not early this week, because that would be today. But between tomorrow and Thursday, we're going to get you guys some books. We're going to get you guys books to read for this term. And then we will have the small group. So the small group is going to be really the whole class, because you guys are a pretty small class. We still have 2 other people on the list to be here. 2 or 3.
Do I have to start over with my book?
Nope. Nope, you can start where you were. That's fine. With the books, I'm going to suggest some things for you guys, but you don't have to take those suggestions. But I'm usually right. So,
That is true.
It's true, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to suggest some things that I think you would be interested in. So this week is going to be a little bit of me getting to know you. Thank you.
And yes, you're right. I like Julio or Romeo, or however you say it.
Romiet and Julio.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. So the last couple of things that I have here. So the way the room is laid out, again, I apologize, it's super tight right now. It's just going to be that way for a little bit because I have a lot of students in my other classes right now. So this is kind of my corner of the world. And I would ask that you guys not mess around in my corner of the world. It's kind of like I'm not going to go into your backpack. So don't come into my backpack area. This is my little corner of the world. I do have stuff over here that is for you guys, and hopefully I will be able to move these tables around a little bit later on, so you guys will be able to get over here. The journals are down here for my other students. They will be down here for my other students. But I do have a crate here in case you want to leave some materials here. Okay. This table or this bookshelf over here is going to be for you guys essentially. Again, if I can leave this out, then I'm going to try to actually have it back there behind where Mary is, because it works better that way. That has your do now. It has some extra pens and pencils. It also has the pencil sharpener. Back there in the corner, that is where I hold all of my extra stuff. So I have extra materials back there. If you need anything, make sure that you're letting me know, and I will do my best to get that for you. And then across the hall is where we have all of the Read 180 stuff. So the software program, that's also where all the Read 180 books are, including the audio books. So all of that information is going to be over there. So we're going to work a lot over there tomorrow. Okay?
You said you were going to say something
What was I going to say?
about the book.
About the books?
Yeah.
The Read 180 books?
I don't know what I was going to say.
Okay. I don't know what I was going to say. All right. Do you guys have any questions? Remember that I locked the door, so if you are late, you need to knock on the door. I don't close it until 9. If you're late, you need to knock on the door. Make sure that when you come in here, you're not on your phone. A lot of students who come in and they're trying to talk on their phone, or they're trying to play music. Don't do that. Just don't do it.
Later, after this class, I'm gonna give you my daughter's new phone,
Okay.
in case I run out of minutes or something.
Okay. I am going to have a data sheet for you guys tomorrow that you'll fill out, so you can put it on there.
I'm sorry, this is okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a little bit of time left. I can answer any questions, but I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the exit ticket, so you can have a bit of time to work on that, and I will answer any questions that you guys have. So with your exit ticket, on the sheet, it has your name, and it has the couple of sentences about yourself. I want you to make a list of 2 things you learned today and 2 things that you may be confused by. So if you're not confused by anything, good question. Then I want 4 things you learned today. I need 4 things on a list. This does not have to be complete sentences. It just needs to be 4 things. 2 things you learned, 2 things you're confused by, It can be 3 things that you learned and 1 thing you're confused by. I just need 4 things. Okay?
Do you want to write exit ticket on it so you won't get confused?
That would be nice, yeah. And make sure your name's at the top of the page.
Well, I
That
get
won't,
See how I got mine? Is that alright?